Coming up, we at the table are going to discuss all the different elements from Walt Disney World and Disneyland parks, bring them together, and create our ultimate theme park. Plus, we're going to see what you guys on Facebook decided to put in your ultimate theme park. That's coming up live from the Bob Varley studio here in Orlando, Florida. This is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode number 786 for the week of February 24th, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, and Adventures by Disney Vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Dustin West. And I am joined at the table here in the Bob Varley studio by John Magi, Kevin Close, Kathy Whirling, Corey Martin. Back in the production nook, we have our associate producer, Craig Williams. And we also have Just Rhino. Hey, Rhino.
Just Rhino.
Just Rhino. So like I said in the intro, we are going to discuss some of our favorite elements from all the different theme parks, Disney theme parks that are in the U.S., and then try to maybe come up with some sort of consensus of what we think will be like the ultimate Disney theme park. What elements, we could use from those different places, bring them together, and just make what we think is like the perfect theme park or resort area. And I kind of want to break it down as we're talking. We can kind of start with what attractions we would bring in, then maybe like themed areas. So, like Tomorrowland from Disneyland or something like that. And then we can also talk about different, the way the parks and the resort areas are designed and how everything would flow. So this is just meant to be fun and light.
So you will have fun.
You will have fun.
You will have fun.
And you will be light. So did anybody have any ideas of if you had to pick attractions out of the different parks, what would you include?
Oh, can I go first?
Yes, Kathy.
No surprise, but I'd pick Figment, and I'd bring Figment back bigger and better than it ever was. Like, elements of the first one, but, bring Dreamfinder back, make it,
So you would reimagine imagination.
Yes, I would. Exactly. But as an Imagineer.
But why?
Because there's so... Jeez, Craig!
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not sure this is light anymore.
All right, light space.
Maybe this isn't in the rules, but there's only so much space. You can't just say, I want one of everything. It has to earn its space in this dream, whatever it is, the biggest theme park ever. So why?
Okay.
I think there's rules on imagination.
To earn it.
I still think there's a considerable number of people who enjoy Figment and would enjoy seeing the original
yes,
Figment.
And all three of you should get together once in a while.
Change yourself.
I think Disney's still into Figment. They include them on the festival merchandise and different things. So I think if you're considering it, or maybe we could put it into Whirling World. I don't know. We could.
Let's
Tilt-a-whirling.
How about we Tilt-a-whirling.
Oh, that's another one. Okay.
How about we do it this way? Let's go theme park by theme park and say if you had to choose one attraction from each theme park.
All right, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this.
Okay, great.
I'm just going to throw a monkey wrench into this.
Wait a minute. Here's rules.
Here's my problem. I know it's not going to meet Craig's rules. Here's my issue. One of the things that I don't like about Disney theme park to theme park is when they reuse something.
Okay.
If I go to Disney theme park, I want to see something completely new and completely different.
Okay.
So
You mean like Dumbo and magic carpets and dinosaurs and
So my dream theme park, my ultimate theme park, if they did a fifth gate at Disney, would have nothing to do with anything else. It would
what
be
rides?
Okay, so don't cut to John.
Exactly. Don't ask him about it. But I think that's my thing is I don't want you to reuse a ride. I don't want to put the same ride in over and over again. I want it to be completely new and completely imaginative. So it's a place I want to go to for those things.
Okay, and then, going off of that, a lot of people on Facebook said, take all the rides that Disney has gotten rid of and put them in a theme park, which got me thinking, okay, if Disney got rid of them, why would you want to bring them back? Like, what?
Well, I think the Skyway to Tomorrowland, that was fun.
A lot of times they don't take them out because they weren't necessarily working or they were bad attractions. They just have to make room for something new, and some of them were bad attractions. But yeah, so let's do it that way. Let's go through Epcot and say, if you had to choose one attraction from Epcot, which one would it be that you would include in your ultimate park? And maybe John will play along with this.
That's a tough. Well, like for me, that's a tough one because I consider the World Showcase my destination. I consider the entire World Showcase as an attraction.
Okay.
So I would love to have
his space thing.
Did I earn it?
If she doesn't have enough room for Figment, chances are you're going to have to.
We have plenty of land.
Okay. I would like them to go back to real Imagineering. I think the last real Imagineering feat that I can remember, I haven't ridden Spaceship Earth or Expedition Everest or the Mine Train. But the last real Imagineering feat that I thought, holy moly, this is old-fashioned Imagineering, was PhilharMagic.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there and I thought, this is what I loved about Disney. They showed me something I didn't expect to see. So I would like to get rid of pre-made rides.
I absolutely agree with you. I would not want to see...
If you can buy it, it's not Disney.
Yeah, all right, so in Epcot, the thing I would pick is that really uncomfortable movie about babies, about where babies come from.
The making of
baby. That's the best thing in Epcot. Now, making adults uncomfortable around their kids, that's perfect.
Before we get too serious, what if we did a theme park full of stuff like Stitch's Great Escape, the attractions
rides
everyone hates.
Stitch's Great Escape.
So that way you fool everyone to go over there and freeing up extra room.
How much room
for
do you
all
have
the
over
good
there?
ones. Enough.
Unlimited, apparently. Craig's rules are over there.
Craig's rule. He wants the worst.
Time to get
attractions.
serious.
Craig, what do you want from Epcot?
That's tough. Epcot, I would... Are we going past, present, whenever, or just right?
Imagination, Craig. Anywhere.
The world's your oyster, Craig.
I mean, in any
we only
time
have an
frame,
hour.
it would be Horizons.
Okay, Horizons. Yeah, if you could, it would be Horizons. And that's the thing is, we're not.
Horizons was boring. It's one of those things that everybody looks back. This was great. It wasn't. It was dull.
They sprayed orange stuff in your face.
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoy
there's
Horizons.
a bottle right over there on the counter. I can do that for you here.
But yeah, it can be past because we're building it new. It's not.
Okay,
yeah, we're not
still
lifting
choose it.
All right. For me, it would be Mission Space. I love Mission Space. I personally, I know a lot of people either can't ride it or won't ride it.
Yeah, we don't have room for that.
But
would you make both sides?
I would make. Yeah, I would make both
inside and
sides.
the outside?
The less intense and the more intense. I would do that.
Okay.
I personally think that Mission Space, an updated version with better graphics and stuff like that. I would make
with more buttons to push.
Yes, with more useless buttons you can push.
I want Captain EO.
Captain EO.
See, Spaceship Earth would be good, but then that's kind of, you might get conflicting icons if someone chooses It's Tough to Be a Bug.
You don't want
From
too many
Animal
weenies
Kingdom.
in the park?
No, you can't have too many icons. That
Okay.
would just start to get all sloppy.
I think, see, now Rhino's Captain EO fits right into my theme of making parrots uncomfortable. We got a theme going.
As I'm writing down everybody's things, I'm realizing I'm writing down every attraction in Epcot.
You're taking notes, and this is. I don't think this is going to be noteworthy at the end.
Okay, all right. So was that everybody for that one?
No, you're Soarin'.
Soarin'.
Yeah, I'd do Soarin' too, but with the California theming. Not.
But I would take Soarin' only if we could get rid of Figment.
Okay. So scratch through Figment, big plus sign next to Soarin'. This is weird. I like it. How about Magic Kingdom? If you guys had to choose one attraction to make the cut for a brand new theme park.
Original Tomorrowland.
Original Tomorrowland.
The old white Tomorrowland, the really modern sort of. I would get rid of all the doodads that they've attached to it.
Okay. See, and I was thinking to myself coming over here that if we had included all the Disney parks, I would have gone with Discoveryland in Disneyland Paris.
You started this by saying we had to stick
know.
with parks in the United States.
But if I
He who
had,
creates the rules is already breaking
that's
it.
right. I'm not actually adding it. Tomorrowland. Yeah, I prefer that version of Tomorrowland over the new one. I think it was cleaner. I think that it fit better in the Magic Kingdom, and now it's jagged rocks and crazy metal and.
If you look at the old pictures, I loved
Yeah.
the old all-white Tomorrowland with those fountains outside of America the Beautiful and stuff. I miss that, but it's nostalgia. It might have been hard to keep up, and they might have had to paint it every couple months. I don't know what the real reason was, but I miss that.
How about you, John?
I would do a version of the castle, whoever's castle it was, that included the same kind of interior that the one in Disneyland has, Disneyland California. I like the idea that you can go inside the castle and you sort of see the diorama. So I think the idea, and also Disneyland Paris with the dragon.
Yeah.
Put something in the castle and make it an attraction.
And make it
rather-
bigger.
Make it, are you making fun of the size of the castle?
They're not going to
Oh.
like that.
They're not. I think making it something that's just not a pretty outside where you go and
And has a hair salon in the middle of it. Am I wrong?
absolutely, that's why it's funny.
Supercuts in the castle.
Got a Supercuts in the castle and a Denny's.
How about you, Corey?
I would go with Splash Mountain. I think it's fun for all ages, and I think I have to speak on behalf of Julie, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah,
I have
if
to
you
do
can,
it.
if you
I'll
can
throw
do
that
it.
in there.
Yeah, if she were here, she'd tell you that had to be
Yeah,
everywhere.
Exactly.
And you we were required to ride it.
Yeah.
How about you, Kathy?
I do Carousel of Progress, but I would update the ending
Yeah,
and add.
And
You
you
don't
go
want it in the
faster.
80s?
Yeah.
A little centrifugal force would help.
just make it a zoetrope so it's constantly moving.
Oh God, yeah.
It spins around so fast you're just pinned to the back wall the entire time. It's your
They used to have a
eyes-
carnival ride like that, and the floor
Yeah.
dropped out.
Yeah.
So I would go with Space Mountain. Space Mountain has a certain nostalgic value to me, and if it was a dream world, I would do Space Mountain before they updated the queue and they had the videos playing in the line that they used to have.
With the chocolate chip cookie that flies overhead.
the chocolate
would
chip
you do
cookie?
Would you do
Too much
Orlando,
chocolate.
Disney World or Disneyland version of Space?
I would take Disney World's old queue that they had, but then put the ride system of Disneyland in it because I feel like
What about the one in Disneyland Paris that shoots you up into the mountain?
that's Rock and Roller Coaster. We're not allowed to use Disneyland.
No,
Paris.
it's in Disneyland Paris. You start outside and you're like shot up into the mountain.
yeah.
But we're not allowed
rock
to
and
use
roll.
that.
We're not allowed to
It's-
Paris.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rock and Roller Coaster.
He said U.S. based, right? Right.
Yeah,
Then
for
you
the
picked
most part.
Discoveryland.
Oh,
I
it's
don't want
just,
to play anymore.
how about you, Kathy?
Didn't I answer?
She said
Yeah.
Carousel
Yeah.
Progress.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Progress.
He was just that
Carousel
Carousel of Progress
disinterested
with
in
real
Carousel
people in
Progress.
each scene.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better. I like
Real
that.
actors.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of fun.
How about you guys back there?
I'm Haunted Mansion. I was torn between
yeah.
Carousel of Progress though. I was thinking
Okay.
that because that's a family favorite, but I think Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion with real people.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
It's honestly, it's hard to imagine if you were to create a new Disney park without including the Haunted Mansion. I mean,
Then you got to include pirates too.
yeah.
That's what I was like. It's got something that is animatronic, like that in that realm there. But Haunted Mansion.
Oh, and now
How
the
about you,
judge
Craig?
is going to
Well,
speak.
yeah, the judge is going to speak.
Don't get too
and
serious, Craig.
I've deemed it that the park needs to be bigger. You can't limit it to one attraction from each park. That's just not enough. So, like Kathy, I agree with you. Carousel of Progress needs to be in there. Then go over to Fantasyland. You have to put in Small World.
I agree.
You have to
Yeah.
do that. Go to Liberty Square. Got to put in Haunted Mansion. So
And
that
the Hall
way,
of Presidents.
definitely the Haunted Mansion, because then when we get to Disneyland for New Orleans Square, you're going to take their version of Pirates and put
Yeah,
it in, not our version of
definitely.
Pirates here.
If they're allowed to go to other places, I would say Paris's Pirates.
I'll see it one day.
Love it.
They develop the story a lot more. It's much longer, and they have.
It's about 3 hours.
And you go up in the pirate ship. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Oh,
Craig.
that's cool.
But what? Okay, and then Frontierland, I would choose Splash Mountain, Adventureland, Jungle Cruise, and
Every classic attraction.
And then
Magic
it has to
Kingdom.
have
I
a
was just
main
going to say,
street
in other
too.
words, the Magic Kingdom.
Yes, the Magic Kingdom. I would put the Magic Kingdom in a new park.
Well, the Magic Kingdom definitely has the most of the fan favorites, you know, that upper tier. As we've done the brackets in the past, pretty much all the winners and all the top attractions have come down to the Magic Kingdom. And it would be...
We can take the teacups out.
Yeah, we can say I don't need...
Toss them.
I don't need the teacups. I can't even ride them.
No, thank you.
So, Craig, I now deem you official commissioner of the rules and the construction of this site.
He's in charge of the Lollipop
I think
Guild.
we need a coup.
Oh, I will take this task on with the utmost respect and something.
With all the respect it deserves.
Not of someone who's on Benadryl.
So what about studios? What would you guys, if you had to choose one thing from
Burn
one
it to the
attraction from
ground.
studios, what would you go with, Corey?
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, for the
But
thrills.
I'd like to be able to pick my own songs, and if they need to update the intro.
You don't like Steven Tyler from like 20 years ago? Something great.
How about you, Kathy?
Who wants to be a millionaire? But like updated and, you know, that used to be,
Kathy is the worst theme park ever.
okay, it's going in Whirling World then. I don't
I would
ride
keep the
rides.
Hollywood theming.
Yeah,
I love the Hollywood theming.
and that's what you would take?
And then bulldoze the rest of the park.
Okay.
Great movie ride, but updated.
Yeah, which hopefully we'll be able to see sometime soon. They're working on that now. Getting at least the intro and outro movies that they show.
Well, I also think I love old movies, but I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of people who remember Busby Berkeley movies. So
Yeah.
that whole
Right.
first scene is like, it really does need a
Yeah.
little updating.
I would keep Rock and Roller Coaster as well, just to have that. I mean, that's the most exciting thrill ride on at Disney World. So yeah, I would definitely include that in the park.
I'm going to agree with that one too. That's
Okay.
my choice. Yeah.
Any love for Tower of Terror, Craig?
No, because I actually am on the minority, and I prefer the California Adventure Tower of Terror. I like their whole system and how it works. I would actually go with Kevin or John or whoever said it, because I wasn't paying attention. Great movie ride.
Okay.
Okay. And how about
Commissioner is surly.
he is?
Not paying attention. Not good qualities in a commissioner, I think.
How about you? Wait.
We
I
were
already said-
done.
Yeah,
I agreed with
I'm
you.
sorry. This is just so wild. Okay. I was gonna say, how about Animal Kingdom? I know exactly what I would go with, and that's the safari. It has
Yeah.
to be the safari
Oh, I
at
agree.
Animal Kingdom. How about you, John?
That one place where you go out and inappropriately touch the animals.
That new tour that she's talking about?
That new tour that you're talking about.
You just
Tails
want
and tails.
Awkwardville.
I do. I want awkward land. I don't really care. Take whatever you want.
Not a big Animal Kingdom fan as it stands.
Yeah, no.
No. So you
I would keep the tigers.
just let them run loose.
Just
That would make it more fun.
So if
That's called childcare.
no, but that's interesting though. That if you were to build an ultimate Disney theme park, there's not a single thing from Animal Kingdom that you would include in
I
that.
don't believe there's any.
I'm not a
ultimate
huge
Disney
fan of
thing.
Animal Kingdom. I do like the fact that you said that the bathrooms were like storm centers or whatever you told
Yeah.
us it was. Other than that, I'm
Except
just
for the overall theming of it, I don't. There's nothing in it that I picture as classic Disney.
Yeah. If while we were constructing this new ultimate theme park, if the level of detail and theming that went into Animal Kingdom
It's
could make its way,
I don't
into
find
this.
a lot to do at Animal Kingdom for
Yeah.
me. Once you've done the safari, there's not a lot to do.
Yeah. How about you, Corey?
I would probably. I was torn between Everest, but I think I like the Jungle Trek. I think it's just it's nice and relaxing to go through there and
That's the
just,
one you walk through.
yeah,
Is that where the tigers are?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the
And the
one.
Maharaja Jungle Trek. Yeah. How about you, Kathy?
And the
Well,
monkeys.
I agreed with the safari.
That's right.
And I like the Harambe Village. I would put something like that someplace to hang out.
Oh, yeah, I do like that. Okay, good.
Is that okay
Rhino?
with the commissioner?
I'll allow it.
Commissioner Craig.
I'm actually kind of, once again, on John and Kevin's original standpoint of I would probably leave out just Animal Kingdom in this. I don't necessarily need it. If I had to choose something, though, I would go with Expedition Everest.
Dinosaur. That's my favorite ride at Disney World, I think. Until they like
one of
changed
mine.
it.
I don't think we should let Rhino play.
It's just a good ride because you don't have to go on a roller coaster, but it's scary. Oh, like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Because when I was a kid, I was afraid to go on all
John
those
Drive
rides.
on I-4, it has the same exact.
All right, so moving over to Disneyland Park. What would you guys? I mean, I know there's a lot at Disneyland. What would be like the ultimate attraction that has to come with you from Disneyland Park in California, Kevin?
It's a small world.
Yeah,
The fact that it's
the original.
that facade and that outside, and yep.
And however, I like the inside of the world better.
Yeah, it's a slightly different design. The river itself actually looks like you're in a river instead of in a trough.
I also like the fact, don't hate me, I know it's the original and Walt touched it and Lillian loved it and all that. But it seems that when you ride World, it was more fleshed out. There's less flat scenery.
Yeah, exactly.
California has the best outside. I like the fact that you load outside. We would not have good luck with that here. People would melt. But inside there seems to be more flat scenery in land. So I would take the inside of ours and the outside of theirs.
Okay, how about you, John?
I would take their Phantasmic, but when we move over to California Adventure, if we're not allowed to have two nighttime spectaculars, I want World of Color.
Commissioner? Are we allowed to have two nighttime spectaculars?
that's really
Different days of the
tough.
week, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. We never really discussed how many watered areas would be in the park. So I'm going to have to allow it.
Have an urban development subcommittee.
I don't care what you say. You ruled in my favor. I'm happy.
I know for me, believe it or not, I would and somehow try to update it a little bit, but take their Autopia in Tomorrowland. I think it's really great for kids, and I think it's
Yeah.
a million times better
Than ours.
in the one in Florida. Their Autopia is really nice.
You don't
especially
care
for
anything about the environment, do you?
electric cars with maybe a little more
Solar
scenery.
paneled car.
Yeah, there you go.
Powered.
How about you, Kathy?
I would take the New Orleans Square area.
Sorry.
And going along
I
with
think Corey
John
just had a stroke.
and Phantasmic, and as somebody said on Facebook, if we could put like bleachers.
They have to
you
come
know.
up out of the ground. They disappear during the day.
Yeah.
And they come
that's
up
a
out
good
of the
idea.
ground.
Yeah, I like that.
Like their lighting fixtures do for
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Phantasmic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only problem with their Phantasmic is
Crowd control. and
crowd
seating.
control.
Yeah.
It's heinous.
How about you, Corey? I imagine you were going
Well,
to say.
I'm partial, New Orleans Square, but I would also take the attraction that comes with it, Pirates. But this New Orleans Square has to allow alcohol.
Okay. Since this wouldn't necessarily be a Magic Kingdom park in that sense.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go. How about you, Rhino?
I've never been to Disneyland.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I'm not,
Told you,
yeah,
don't
like,
let him play.
I'd like to go on Indiana Jones.
Huh?
Do you want to know what?
yeah.
You would love it because you know
Love it.
why?
It's
It's
dinosaur.
dinosaur. I vote for Indiana Jones.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
Dinosaur
the
pack.
Chris Pratt version.
How about you, Craig?
Oh, it's such a difficult task, this one.
And you can't name every major ride this time.
I would take the tree and the rock.
I'd probably say the Tiki Room with the Enchanted Garden as well. So
Yeah.
that way you get Pele, Tongaroa Roo, and all the pre-show of that.
Yeah.
That's me.
But then I would keep our Dole Whip location because it's much more efficient.
Speaking of which, did you hear that supposed to be rumored to be going away?
The Disneyland Dole
No,
Whip?
our Dole Whip
Really?
location, Aloha Isle. It's supposed to be going away with the new restaurant that's going in.
There's plenty of
behind it?
space back there.
So they're supposed to
They're going to put a Bob's Big Boy there, aren't they?
So they're going to put the Dole Whip place supposedly in Sunshine Terrace.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they have multiple walk-up counters, so that could help that line a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's sad to see that have to move. So how about California Adventure? We don't necessarily. I think everybody would say World of Color, please. So beyond that, attractions at California Adventure, John.
Again, I would keep the Hollywood theming because it would match up with our Hollywood studios.
Right.
The whole new theming is great. What they've done there is fantastic. And I actually think the trolley thing is a cool addition.
The red car trolley.
The red car trolley. I think that would be a neat thing to expand upon at a new park.
Okay. I know for me, it's California Screamin' again with the whole thrill ride aspect. I've got to have a couple roller coasters in there. I think it's one of Disney's best roller coasters, so I'd go with California
I would take the
Screamin'.
movie with Whoopi Goldberg about people moving to California. That was always great fun.
I don't think I ever saw that.
There's a reason.
You're going to put that like, next to Carousel of Progress and make Sleepy Land or something?
No, it goes in
Nap Land?
Kathy's park.
You never saw the movie?
No.
Snorefest.
Did you say something in specifically that you would take from that?
The Hollywood theming.
Okay, yeah.
And then I would lop off the back of the carnival rides. That would just go away.
Okay.
Paradise
That's a
Pier
whole other
area.
thing. You can put that out on the boardwalk somewhere. But that's not part of our theme park. Commissioner?
I'll allow it.
Okay, he can stop.
All right. Corey?
I would, it's not my favorite, but I think that every theme park needs a Ferris wheel, so I would bring the Mickey's Fun Wheel.
Okay.
That's just fun to sit and watch people be terrified.
Yeah. The way that
It really is.
Because everybody goes out and feeling real tough.
Yeah.
And then those things start to swing and they start to scream like little girls.
Yeah, because you're basically in a blender.
Right.
How about you, Kathy?
Okay, since we're in boring land,
No, Snooze Town.
okay, in Snoozetown, I like the Boudin Bakery, and when you used to be able to see them make the tortillas, and you'd get the warm tortilla.
This fits perfectly in her land.
It really does.
I just thought that was something different. Everybody needs to eat. That was something a little bit different.
With every admission, you get a Xanax.
Kathy's land is located in Amish country in Pennsylvania.
It closes at 7:30.
Why, yes. No, 7 o'clock because you have to be in bed by 7:30.
Admission is $2.
Find me in New Orleans Square.
No, they
Kathy.
give you $2.
We're sorry.
Come watch us make tortillas.
With churned milk later.
I did.
Don't think I've ever done it. How about you, Craig?
I think, without a doubt, it's got to be Radiator Springs Racers.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to find a way in there. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
I've never been there, but I
was gonna skip you
really
this time.
annoyingly. I've never been there, but I'll agree with Kevin because I like the idea of Hollywood theming. So
All right. So talking
Okay,
about
he can stay.
okay, good.
it's my way back in.
We talk about theming and stuff like that. Seems to be where everybody started chiming in on Facebook. Most people weren't like saying specifically which attractions they would do, but how they would. They seem to be more focused on how they would reorganize the existing parks. And so, for example, Cheryl Bernardi Mantle said, have a monorail system that would go to more hotels, such as the moderate and value hotels. So, kind of stuff like that. How would you guys, knowing kind of like Disney World and the things that we're bringing, how would you restructure things between maybe multiple theme parks or between hotels? What would be ideal for you? I know for me, if you were building an ultimate Disney resort area, in my mind, having the ability to walk from park to park like Disneyland does is key.
I think a feature that I would like, something similar that City Walk has, like a people mover. You stand on it, it brings you to certain locations. I think this park should have those all around.
I think we should have like pneumatic tubes like the bank.
Like in Futurama.
I'm
I was
agree with
actually-
that one again.
I was
too.
actually going to say I think that we should go underground. I think it should be a subway system.
I think people would be disappointed if they actually had that monorail system. Can you imagine how confusing that would be? I mean, right now it's kind of a loop,
Yeah.
and you can get off at one of the stops or take it to Epcot. If we had one that went to every hotel, I have a feeling there would be a lot more time spent on the monorail.
It would be like the New York subway station.
Right.
You have to switch lines and all
Exactly.
that stuff.
Well,
I think
Oh, sorry.
I think it would just be confusing.
Well, I think if you had a subway that made a continuous loop that was fast, that you can go, okay, this stop is this resort, this stop is this resort, then it's this park.
Have you seen the preview to Jurassic Park?
Mm-hmm. You want to be those bubbles?
Those plastic balls look like fun too.
I think it would be cool if they had separate systems, so it didn't get bogged down like that, but it only went to like 2 or 3 hotels, park, 2 or 3, whatever, something like that.
Okay.
But again, probably too confusing.
Well, I guess it depends too on how many resorts there are, and
Oh yeah, how many resorts are there in this Magic Land?
Refer to last.
Whirling.
It could be anything. I'm just talking about just a general flow and organization for these kind of things. And
I don't like the fact that the parks, I know people love this in California, that they're within walking distance to each other. It feels weird. It feels like you've all of a sudden gone from one theme to another theme,
Yeah.
and there's no separation between them.
I think that's why I would more like it to more closely resemble the way that Epcot and Hollywood Studios are connected. So let's imagine that if in the same way you can walk from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, and it takes about 20 or 25 minutes, being able to walk to Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom from there as well. These little walkways with resorts scattered throughout, not necessarily butting right up against each other, but in some way, like you said, having that theme, flow and change.
A break between one park and another.
Is
park.
that, everybody likes the 2 resort or the 2 theme parks are close enough to walk to. Was there ever any discussion when Disney World was built why they didn't go with, well, I know California Adventure wasn't around. Was it because Walt had this?
The original idea was he had so much space that they could do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
He
make
didn't
it
like the idea. First of all, if you think about the Magic Kingdom, Walt didn't like the idea that Anaheim encroached on his park, that you could see Anaheim outside. There's the famous
Right.
story of the people rushing out of the park, and he asked them why, and they said you could see the traffic on the 5. He said when you went to his Magic Kingdom in Florida, that there was going to be no easy way to get there. You had to leave reality behind, and you had to take another form of transportation, the monorail, the riverboat, something like that, to get to his park. You suspended disbelief for a short time, and you entered his fantasy world.
But what if they had lined them like Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and they just had like one giant parking lot, and you just sort of veered off? Would that change your
Oh, I
experience
parked
at
in
Disney
goofy
World?
185. I think it would probably be. But think of the night shows, though. They kind of be, they'd be competing
In
against
each
each
other's
other.
view.
Sure.
Did you
One of
ever
the things
leave any of the parks at New Year's Eve?
No.
Okay. I can't imagine leaving 4 theme parks parking lot.
One of
once
the
they all
things
close.
one of the things that's great about World is the fact that there's that idea of sightline. Wherever you are, your sightline makes sense. And
Right.
he loses that when you go to Disneyland in
Except on
California.
Main Street, where you can see the Contemporary Hotel.
Yeah, but they say that technically you can't.
Okay,
like
well, I'm
you-
tall, apparently.
Right, you can. You can see the Contemporary
I don't know
from
that.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
They say technically you can't see it from Main Street, but you can. But when you get to California, there's some sight lines that are ruined. The Tower of Terror is right there.
It's
You
everywhere.
can see that from everywhere. So I like the fact that it is spread out and it is kept within its own theme.
I think logistically that just sounds horrible. Because, as I said, when we left New Year's Eve, it took us 2.5 hours to get out of Disney property. And that's just because it was really crowded, so...
See, and for me, and I see exactly what you're saying, Kevin, and I would definitely go with that. I'd almost want to leave Walt Disney World as it exists right now, but just find some way to interconnect those things for either pedestrians or bicycles or connect boats to all of that, so that once you park your car, if you really needed to, you could get anywhere. I would.
We
I
have
think I
that
would-
now, you know.
Buses.
It's called buses.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would do away with in my Magic Land. Buses.
So what about any specific, we've already touched on a few of them, any specific like themed areas that are better than others or that you would bring into this? Like Corey had to have, New Orleans Square in here. And he had to have the old Tomorrowland. Is there anything else that you would include from all the theme parks in the U.S.?
I like the way the new Fantasyland feels like it has depth to it. like you go behind Mine Train. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
So I think the being absorbed into a land is better than just walking through Main Street.
I would also go back. How do I say this? I would go to Main Street of yesteryear,
Okay.
Yeah.
where every building was something different. It wasn't just one big building connected.
Right.
That I remember, there was a magic store and there was a penny arcade and there was a movie theater.
And now it's all just the Emporium.
right, and now it's just the Emporium with different facades.
And I also just want to mention almost everybody in this Facebook, on the Diz Unplugged Facebook comments, pretty much everybody said they would include Main Street in there.
Yeah, and Walt's apartment.
Yeah.
Main Street is. It was the last thing. It's the first thing you see. It's the last thing you see. I'm guessing that everyone had the same experience if you went with your parents, that you didn't shop really while you were wandering around, that it was wait till we get to Main Street on the way out so we don't have to carry it kind of thing.
And again, going back to Paris, in my opinion, they have the best Main Street.
They have the best exit and enter and exit strategy. They have a Main Street that has all the shops, but behind all the shops, there are separate covered arcades. The shops have back doors.
Oh, cool.
So at night, when everybody's leaving the park, they have 3 exits.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like Main Street becomes all of a sudden 3 main streets.
Wow.
And on top of that, if it's raining, everybody goes back into the covered arcade.
And they have those really cool lights, the low-level
Right.
lights. It's very well done.
So, in my opinion, that's brilliant. I mean, they do it in World when there's huge crowds, but they open up that non-themed
Yeah.
parking lot
And
area.
what would be in my park is if you're going to open up a backstage area, you better do some sort of something to try and theme it and make it pretty for people. That bugs me that
My
they
theme
do
park
that.
would have traditions also.
Traditions training that lasts more than 8 hours. Yeah. Wow. A lot of people say they wish they could walk between the parks. Zach Risoldi says, take the closeness of the parks at Disneyland Resort to Walt Disney World. Walking from Magic Kingdom to Epcot would be priceless. I love that. I know for me,
Well, you can do it.
you can. You'd be
Would take
walking
you
on a
2.5
highway.
days.
It's just going to take you a while.
Well, and that's why I declared that you can't have too many weenies, so that way you're not seeing them from all around
Referring
the
to
place.
us.
Yes. Specifically you.
I knew it.
Craig, is there any particular themed land that you would just have to incorporate into your ultimate park?
I mean, I'm biased because I would just take Disneyland as it is right now and then add in separate lands to take those great attractions or areas I like from the other parks and still get it in there. And that would be my
I don't think our
goal.
park's big enough for that.
He's the commissioner.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
it
gonna
is.
Costs a lot for
dispute it then.
imagination.
We'll just take out Figment.
You need to file a formal complaint. There's paperwork involved.
I need to
denied.
take Craig out to dinner and try to get Figment back in.
I know for me, there wasn't much love for Animal Kingdom in our earlier discussion, but we had mentioned Harambe Village as one of them. For me, Asia, I think, is
Oh, yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
most well-themed lands in all of Walt Disney World, or Disneyland included in that. And I think that somehow, if we're going to have some sort of natural element to our ultimate park, it has to be there.
I would allow Asia Land to come in there.
Asia Land.
It would work.
Usually.
I think there's a bias here.
I liked Corey's idea of having the World Showcase, but I wanted like permanently Food and Wine World
Oh,
Showcase.
yeah.
I've got one last category for us, and then we'll wrap up. Are there any ultimate restaurants from any of the 6 theme parks?
Can it not
Or-
be in a
Oh, it has
hotel?
to be a theme park?
Or you could include Downtown Disney in this as well.
Wait, no hotels though?
We're not going to do hotels right now.
No, I mean like one of the restaurants from the hotel.
Oh, yeah, you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
and the commissioner agrees.
Okay.
Right, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Any restaurants on Disney World or Disneyland property?
Okay.
What would you include?
Sanaa.
Sanaa?
Yeah, I really-
From the DVC portion of Animal Kingdom?
Yeah,
Lodge?
I really like the. I think like it's got the most unique, some of the most unique food, and I like the fusion idea of like the food from 2 different places, and Yeah, that or Hoop-Dee-Doo review. I
Okay.
know that is two
I changed
opposites.
my mind.
Okay.
Put it back out.
I was going to say, besides Rhino, I have a feeling like our theme park is going to include a lot of more upscale dining. as we,
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it will.
John, what would you?
What's the name of the one that's in California Adventure next to 1901 Carthay?
Carthay Circle.
Carthay Circle?
Yeah, that's probably
I
one of my
agree.
favorite.
And that would go in your Hollywood
That's
land.
one of my favorites, yeah. I would bring back in Sleepy Hollow, where they sell the waffle sandwiches now. They used to sell an apple cobbler that they made there, and you would walk by, and the smell of it would. I would put that back in my theme park.
Okay.
But I would agree with Carthay Circle. I like the theming. I think the food is great. I like the fact that there's some history to it.
I would include the California Grill, but a lot of the California Grill, not only is the food delicious, but a lot of that's location. So, however we could work that out, Commissioner, I don't know. Maybe we just put it on a spire or something.
But you
like
have
the
to
Sears
actually
Tower.
mention that it's Walt Disney World
the entire-
California Grill.
Yeah.
Because we went to the California Grill in Paris, and it was like Grandma's dresser drawer. It was all old antique
It
stuff
is.
with lace and
That's in the Disneyland Hotel. There.
right.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly not California cuisine as far as I was.
It was the
concerned.
one place in that hotel that didn't smell like baby powder because it actually smelled like food.
That's
So
true.
it was good. But no, yes, the Walt Disney World California Grill. I'd include that. However, we could figure that out.
I was going to say the top of the World Lounge, same kind of thing, maybe a little more intimate California Grill, high up place where you could
Yeah, we
look
need
out
we need
over-
a Space Needle is what we need.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
from,
that works.
from SeaWorld.
Yeah, we'll take that.
As long as we have Rhino and I have the Hollywood theming, I would pull in the Brown Derby also.
Yeah. How about you, Corey?
I would do Monsieur Paul, but I would like it to be in Cinderella's castle up
Ooh.
there.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'd work.
So-
Get rid of that food up there and put that quality food up there.
Excellent. How about you, Craig?
Well, since Hollywood Brown Derby and Carthay were taken, I would probably find a way to put in Napa Rose from the Grand Californian. Stick
Yeah.
that in there.
Yeah.
This is going to be a pricey dining
Yeah.
experience.
Should we bring in Club 33?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Club 33.
Well, you have to have the exclusive membership to even say that that will be a part of our park. So
Oh, maybe it could be
Denied.
Club Craig.
So unless we get a member, Commissioner won't allow it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's shot
I know
down.
members.
No, it's Club Craig, and he has to approve you.
Club Craig sounds like a really bad website. I'm sorry.
Sorry, kids, no chicken fingers in this theme park.
All right. So since Rhino mentioned it, we can touch on it real quick. Are there any hotels or elements from the different hotels that Disney owns that you would add?
Alani.
There you go.
I'd plop Alani right in the middle of that sucker.
Maybe this theme
floating
park should
in the
just be in
middle.
Hawaii, right? Just put it
Yes.
right
Or
there.
if we could just tow it a little closer to the California coast.
I agree with you. I would put this whole thing around a body of water and just have Alani plopped right in the middle. I would absolutely do that. But if I couldn't do Alani, I would include Animal Kingdom Lodge and the design elements from Animal Kingdom Lodge somehow, because I think that's one of the most well themed.
I think the lobby's well themed. I think the arms look like a Days Inn with twigs attached to them.
That's true. It is. They are wings.
Attached.
How about you, Corey?
Port Orleans Riverside.
Yeah.
How do Port Orleans River and connect to the New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a very cohesive thought process.
I was gonna say, you do realize there's a place called New Orleans, right? That already
I
exists.
think he's been there.
Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
That's my favorite theming.
Okay. How about you, Kathy?
I'd take Teresa's idea from last week, and have the old-timey Southern with the big staircase. And
Yeah.
The
I'd put
Hollywood
that in.
Hotel
Yeah.
thing.
The Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn hotel.
How about you, Rhino?
That's what they say whenever you ask. You say, I forgot my toothpaste.
Frankly.
I'd agree with Kathy because I don't know. Well, you took Animal Kingdom. I think that's or Wilderness Lodge. Those are the two most impressive ones. But if we're going the Hollywood theme, I think the hotel should fit into our Hollywood theme park. So
Okay. How about you, Craig?
Okay, so mine's gonna get complicated.
Please.
I want it to be the Disneyland Hotel, but in the style with the A-frame of the Contemporary.
Okay.
And then it needs to find a way to also borrow inspiration from Cabana Bay and get that late 50s, early 60s
yeah,
appeal
I
to
like
it.
And what the pool area? What would you do with that? Keep it like Disneyland Hotel?
Yeah, oh no, you need to have the monorail pool and
Trader.
got to have Trader Sam's, Tangaroa Terrace, all that. So it's going to look weird, but maybe it's in the middle of the lobby. Of the contemporary A-frame type structure. I don't know.
That's actually a really cool idea. I like that.
That's because I'm commissioner.
He knows the logistics. He knows the rules he can work with. Well, cool. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We had some interesting ideas. I think we got to learn, what everybody's favorite elements of Disneyland and Disney World have been to create this ultimate theme park. I've got to give a special shout out to my Commissioner Craig over there. Thank you, Commissioner, for being so helpful and shooting everybody's great ideas down. We appreciate that, and we hope you enjoyed it. I know it was weird, but I had fun. So we will see you next week with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for watching, everybody.